first is that renewable energy sources generated 38% of global electricity in 2021. In 2021, all mainstream clean energy sources, hydroelectric, solar, wind, biomass, and geothermal combined made a record year for clean energy sources. They surpassed the amount of energy produced from coal, which stopped at 36.5% in the same year despite a record 9% rise, the fastest yearly growth in coal energy generation since 1985. Despite a record rise in wind and solar power generation, clean electricity has not been deployed quickly enough to keep up with the rapid increase of global demand. Second is wind and solar are the fastest growing renewables. In 2021, the fastest growing sources of clean energy were wind and solar, whose share doubled since the Paris Agreement was signed in 2015. Within just 1 year, the latter rose by 23% from 2020 levels, while electricity generated by wind turbines experienced a 14% increase. For the first time, solar panels and wind turbines generated over 10% of the global electricity demand. Third, as wind and solar power production in EU hits record amid energy crisis. The European Union hit a record 12% in solar power production from May to August 2022, and 13% from wind. What's more, 19 of the bloc's 27 member states have achieved record wind and solar power generation since March of this year. The growth in renewable energy capacity has saved the EU approximately $97 billion in avoided gas imports between March and September, the report found. Fourth is 98% of Norway's energy comes from renewable sources. Norway is by far the largest clean energy producer, followed by Brazil with 84% and New Zealand with 80%. 50 countries have now crossed the 10% wind and solar mark, with 7 new countries doing so in 2021 alone. Despite China contributing the biggest growth in solar and wind energy capacity in the past few years, it has also experienced a record rise in coal in 2021 for the 5th year in a row. Fifth, as renewables are getting cheaper. The rapid drop in costs of these technologies in recent years has enabled countries around the world to increase their renewable energy production capacity. This, coupled with high fossil fuel prices, improves the competitiveness of the renewables. International Energy Agency confirmed that solar power schemes now offer the cheapest electricity in history and predicted that by 2050. Wind, solar, hydroelectric, and geothermal electricity all have a particularly low environmental footprint throughout their life cycles. Notably, the solar life cycle generates minimal greenhouse gas emissions coming mainly from photovoltaic modules and other components. Similarly, some emissions do occur during the wind power life cycle, including the building and construction of turbine towers. Seventh and last is renewables on track to become largest source of global electricity by 2025. World will have twice as much renewable capacity as in the previous 5 years, the International Energy Agency said. Global energy crisis has triggered an unprecedented momentum in the renewable sector, forcing countries to find alternatives to replace increasingly